the reason why I have this as one of the pillars to creating generational wealth is, let's just say on the personal credit side, if you have like at least a 680 credit score or above, of course, is premium, but at least at minimum a 680, you'll start seeing like some things happen for you, being able to get more yeses when you're at like 630, 650, but 680 is a sweet spot, right? This is where you're able to leverage things like lines of credit and credit cards. So let's just say on the personal credit side, when you have a business, there's a way to actually start building out wealth from day one, depending on how you structure your business. If you understand these four pillars of creating millions, then you can be well on your way to actually achieving the results. So I'm gonna jump right into it, and I'm going to actually share my screen. So ideally, when it comes to creating millions, right, there's a formula to it. Of course, you hear some stories about how a person may win the lottery and they accidentally become a millionaire overnight. But you also hear those stories about what happens when they accidentally become a millionaire overnight. So success has a formula, right? So there's a actual blueprint to maintaining success. And for me, in this aspect, we're going to talk about success as becoming a multimillionaire, right? And so ideally there are four pillars, right? I want you to think about your business as a vehicle. So a business is not just a brick and mortar store, it's not just a service or a product that you offer, it's not just a piece of paperwork, but it's an actual vehicle that you have to use to get you from point A to point B. So think about it as a car. It's designed to actually help you go from point A to point B. Now, most people make the mistake of thinking of their business as just a thing, but really the business is the vehicle, right? It's the vehicle that's going to help you get from point A to point B, but there's some coordinates, there's some things that you have to dial in. There's a way to literally GPS your way to success. Whether, and I know, and I'm going to say this too, like I know that everybody doesn't want to be a millionaire. So maybe this is not for you. Maybe this is not the right channel. But for me, I believe that every entrepreneur should at least at minimum be making a million, and could at least at minimum be making a million. Now the difference between those who do and those who don't is not only what you believe, but also the action steps that you either are taking wrong or because you just don't know. Lack of knowledge is one of the biggest hinderers from help from that prevents people from being able to achieve the $1 million status. But with all the money that's floating around in this big universe that we live in, every entrepreneur has the ability. And I've seen the money that is out there. I look at the opportunities that are out there. This is how I know 100% you have the ability to actually at least make the million your baseline. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying it. I wanted to take some time to invite you to join me in the GovCon Challenge. The GovCon Challenge takes place once a month, where I invite a bunch of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to come and have me teach you the 5 things you must do to pre-qualify your business to land lucrative contracts with the government. So join me in the GovCon Challenge. Click on the link in the description. You'll be glad you did. Join as VIP for exclusive behind-the-scenes information, and you could become a part of the top 1% of entrepreneurs across the nation. Now back to the video you were watching. Here we have 4 wheels. So I've done this training before. So there's an older video on my YouTube channel that talks about the wheels of wealth, but I'm going to break it down a little bit more here. So with your business being a vehicle, there are 4 ideal wheels. There are 4 pillars to creating wealth, right? And I'm going to share with you what those 4 things are. I'm going to share with you why you need to have them and what you need to do with them, so that what you need to be doing moving forward and the focus, the things that you need to be focusing on. Now, a lot of times people like are distracted by all the noise that's in this busy marketplace. You got people telling you to jump into real estate, jump into Airbnb, sell ebooks, write a book, do all these other things. But really, you don't even have to do all of those things. Really, if you just do these four things, you can actually start creating millions of dollars. And I'm not talking about in the next decade, I'm talking about in the next 6 to 12 months. You can do that if you take action and focus and put your efforts in doing the right things. Here are the right things that you want to do. So the first wheel that you need to be focusing on is, I call it PC. So PC stands for personal credit. Very important. Now, many of you probably have some challenges or maybe have had some challenges. And even some of you I know probably have like pretty good, decent credit scores, right? Personally. It's important. Now, if you want to become a millionaire, you have to think like a millionaire. You have to do what millionaires do. And what one of the things, the key things that I've learned over the last couple decades is millionaires actually leverage personal credit, right? So I know that sometimes we struggle with personal credit, scores goes up, you make a purchase, scores goes down, you struggle to pay your bills. Life happens. Some things you have to make decisions and things happen and your credit score is suffering. But one thing I know and have learned about credit and personal credit is that you can always fix it regardless. Like you can mess up credit so many times and you can also fix it as many times as you messed up. So it's not a permanent thing. But when it comes to lenders and funders and finance and even sometimes employment now these days, one thing that they look at is your credit. And they look at that because credit tells a story about you, how you handle money, your belief, your relationship with money. This thing really goes deep. The reason why I have this as one of the pillars to creating generational wealth is, let's just say on the personal credit side, if you have like at least a 680 credit score or above, of course, is premium, but at least at minimum a 680, you'll start seeing like some things happen for you, being able to get more yeses when you're at like 630, 650, but 680 is a sweet spot, right? This is where you're able to leverage things like lines of credit and credit cards. So let's just say on the personal credit side, when you have a business, there's a way to actually start building out wealth from day one, depending on how you structure your business. One of those ways is having personal credit and using your personal credit to get, maybe you can do some credit card stacking. Let's just say if you're at like a 680, 650 credit score, and you have income revenues, let's just say of at least 50, 60,000 at minimum. This is just an example that I'm going to use. You can easily get approved for at least a $50,000 credit card, right? And that will be your balance on that card. Now, typically what happens is when you apply for credit cards, and then you apply for another credit card, they usually approve you based on what you've been approved for before. So let's just say you can do some credit card stacking, right? So let's say you have about maybe 3 credit cards on the personal side that are $50,000. So that's already like $150,000 that you get to leverage. And maybe there's a line of credit. Maybe some of this is a mix of between credit cards and lines of credit that you can reuse. So that's $150,000 in leveraged access to capital. So now, most of the time, when people are starting businesses, they're like, how do I start my business with no money? How can I go get a loan? You can actually lend yourself some money by having good personal credit. So this is one of the reasons why it's important to take, it really only takes 90 days to maybe 6 months max to actually boost your credit score and get it to where it needs to be to repair your credit. There's so many different tools that are out there, right, that will allow you to be able to do this. We also have some in-house tools that we give away to some of the clients that we work with. Now, some of these high-level concepts I teach, and we have a bunch of different programs. So one of the programs, we have a $200,000 mastermind, and we teach high-level concepts like this because people who are able to invest at their level, they understand how money really works.